You think you know Rolex? Think again. That watch on your wrist, or the one you dream about owning, has secrets, hidden features that even people who've worn Rolex for decades don't know exist. Tiny details that separate real from fake. Engineering marvels invisible to the naked eye. Most people see a Rolex and think, expensive watch. They notice the crown logo, maybe the rotating bezel, perhaps the date magnifier, then they stop looking. But Rolex doesn't stop engineering. Deep inside every Rolex are several hidden features that blow your mind once you discover them. Secret codes under the crown, invisible engravings you need perfect light to see, springs that defeat magnetism, gold that never fades, clicks engineered to exact specifications. Some of these features fight counterfeiters. Others prove Rolex's obsession with perfection. A few exist just because Rolex refuses to cut corners, even where nobody looks. Jewelers know some of these secrets. Watchmakers know more, but all of them, almost nobody knows them all. These hidden features explain why Rolex costs what it costs, why vintage Rolex watches still work perfectly after 50 years, why fakes always fail under expert examination. Want to know what's really hiding inside that iconic crown logo? Curious which secret feature lets you resize your Rolex in 5 seconds flat? These 17 hidden Rolex features that will change how you see these legendary watches forever. Number 17. The laser-etched crown at 6 o'clock. Most Rolex owners don't even know this exists. Right at the 6 o'clock position on your watch, there's a microscopic Rolex crown etched into the sapphire crystal. You can't see it by looking straight down. You have to tilt the watch at just the right angle under the right light. Rolex added this feature in the early 2000s as a weapon against counterfeiters. Fake watches flooded the market, and Rolex needed a way for buyers to verify authenticity without opening the case. The laser-etched crown became that solution. The crown is incredibly small. We're talking microscopic, smaller than a grain of rice. You need good eyes and perfect lighting to spot it. Natural sunlight works best. Indoor lighting makes it nearly impossible. Some people use their phone flashlight at an angle. When you finally see it, it's magical. This tiny detail proves the incredible precision Rolex puts into every watch. They laser etch a perfect crown logo onto the hardest crystal in watchmaking. The detail is so fine that most people never discover it, even after years of ownership. Counterfeiters struggle to replicate this feature. Cheap fakes don't have it at all. Better fakes attempt it, but the crown appears too large, poorly positioned, or lacks the crisp detail of genuine Rolex etching. Under magnification, the differences become obvious. The etching doesn't affect the crystal's strength or clarity. It's purely an authentication mark. Rolex watchmakers check for it during servicing. Experts use it to verify authenticity instantly. If you tilt the watch slightly at the 6 o'clock position, don't look straight down. Use natural sunlight or a bright LED light at an angle. You'll see a tiny, perfect Rolex crown appear like magic. Once you spot it, you'll check every Rolex you see. You've found the invisible crown, but the next hidden feature lives right in your clasp, ready to save you from discomfort every single day. Number 16. Micro-adjusting clasp. Easy link. Glide lock. Your wrist changes size throughout the day. In the morning, it's smaller. After exercise, it swells. In hot weather, it expands. In cold weather, it shrinks. Rolex knows this, so they built a hidden adjustment system right into the clasp. Most Rolex bracelets have either the Easy Link or Glide Lock system. Easy Link gives you about 5 millimeters of instant adjustment. You flip open the clasp, fold out a hidden link, and snap it back. No tools needed. Takes 5 seconds. Your watch fits perfectly again. The Glide Lock system is even more impressive. It's found on professional models like the Submariner and Sea Dweller. This system allows micro adjustments in 2 millimeter increments, giving you up to 20 millimeters of total adjustment. You slide a tiny mechanism inside the clasp, and the bracelet loosens or tightens smoothly. Why does this matter? Comfort. A watch that fits perfectly in the morning might feel tight by afternoon. With Easy Link or Glide Lock, you adjust it instantly without removing the watch. No need to visit a jeweler, no need for screwdrivers or special tools. Just flip, adjust, done. Divers especially love Glide Lock. When they wear their Submariner over a wetsuit, they need extra length. They slide the Glide Lock to maximum extension. When they take off the wetsuit, they slide it back. Perfect fit in both situations. The adjustment mechanism is completely hidden when the clasp is closed. Nobody sees it, nobody knows it's there. It's Rolex, solving problems you didn't even know you had. Many Rolex owners wear their watches for months before discovering this feature. Then they wonder how they lived without it. Perfect for hot weather wrist swelling. Your wrist can swell significantly on summer days or during workouts. Use the Easy Link for quick 5mm changes. Use Glide Lock for precise micro adjustments. This hidden feature makes your expensive Rolex comfortable all day, every day. Your bracelet adjusts in seconds, but the next secret changed, where Rolex hides something critical and it protects your watch forever. Number 15. Secret serial repositioning. For decades, Rolex engraved serial numbers between the lugs at 6 o'clock. You had to remove the bracelet to see them. Watch experts, dealers, and owners use these numbers to authenticate and date Rolex watches. This tradition defined Rolex for generations. Then, around 2008, Rolex quietly changed everything. Modern Rolex watches have their serial numbers engraved on the inside of the case, on the rehaut, the inner ring between the dial and crystal. You can see it without removing the bracelet. Just look closely at the 6 o'clock position inside the watch face. The serial number sits right there, tiny but legible. Why did Rolex make this change? Protection. When serial numbers sat between the lugs, polishing could wear them down over time. Jewelers and owners would accidentally polish away parts of the numbers while refinishing the case. After decades of polishing, some vintage Rolex serial numbers became partially or completely unreadable. This created authentication nightmares. The new position protects the serial number completely. It's inside the case where polishing wheels never touch. The engraving stays crisp and clear forever. Even after decades of wear and multiple professional services, the serial remains perfectly legible. This change also prevents bracelet removal scratches. Every time you took off a bracelet to check the serial, you risked scratching the lugs with the spring bar tool. Professional watchmakers were careful, but accidents happened. Now you never need to remove the bracelet just to verify authenticity or check the production date. Collectors can instantly identify when a Rolex was made based on serial position. Between the lugs? Pre-2008. On the rehaut? Post-2008. The rehaut position means your serial number will never fade, even after aggressive polishing or decades of wear. Authentication stays easy forever. The serial moved to safety, but tiny symbols under the crown logo reveal secrets about what's ticking inside your watch. Number 14. The crown logo tells you the movement. Look closely at the Rolex crown logo on your watch dial. You might see tiny symbols underneath it, dots, lines, or other marks. These aren't decorative. They're secret codes that tell you exactly what's inside your watch. Different symbols represent different movements and constructions. A single dot might indicate a particular caliber. 3 dots could mean a different movement entirely. Some watches have no dots at all, which also carries specific meaning. These tiny marks are Rolex's internal communication system. Rolex used these markings for decades to help their own technicians quickly identify movements without opening cases. Watchmakers could glance at the dial and know instantly which caliber was inside, what complications it had, and what parts they might need. This saved enormous time during servicing and repairs. The system evolved over the years as Rolex introduced new movements and technologies. Early Rolex watches used different marking systems than modern ones. The codes changed with each generation. Expert collectors have memorized these codes and can date watches precisely just by examining the dial under magnification. For example, certain vintage Rolex watches show a single coronet, the Rolex crown, with dots arranged in specific patterns. Each pattern corresponds to a specific era and movement family. A watch with 2 dots in a particular position might be from the 1970s, with a specific caliber inside. Modern Rolex watches still use subtle variations, though the system is less obvious than vintage models. Rolex keeps these details intentionally discreet. Only serious collectors and certified watchmakers know what to look for and how to interpret the codes. Counterfeiters often miss these subtle markings completely or get them wrong. A fake might have dots that don't match the supposed movement inside. Watch collectors use this to date models. Study the dots and symbols under the crown on vintage Rolex watches. Cross-reference with known databases. These tiny marks reveal production periods and verify originality. The crown speaks in code, but the next engineering miracle keeps your Rolex waterproof even when you think it's vulnerable. Number 13. Oyster case is waterproof, even without the crown pulled out. Most people think pulling out the crown automatically makes a watch vulnerable to water. With Rolex, that's not entirely true. The oyster case design is so advanced that water resistance remains intact, even with the crown pulled to the time-setting position, as long as you haven't unscrewed the crown first. Here's how it works. Rolex oyster cases use a screw-down crown system. When you screw the crown down tight against the case, it compresses multiple gaskets that create a waterproof seal. This seal is so effective that the case becomes essentially airtight. Water, dust, and even air pressure changes cannot penetrate. When you pull the crown out to set the time, the stem moves inside the case, but the seal at the crown tube remains intact, as long as the crown stays screwed down against the case tube. The compressed gaskets hold their position. Water cannot enter through the crown tube because the seal is still engaged. However, this doesn't mean you should set your watch underwater or in wet conditions. Rolex explicitly warns against this in their documentation. Why? Because even though the seal might hold theoretically, you're putting unnecessary stress on the gaskets. Movement, pressure changes, and water contact could compromise the seal over time. The screw-down crown is the critical component. If you unscrew the crown, you break the seal completely and immediately. Water can pour into the watch the moment the threads disengage. This is why Rolex crowns have that distinctive threaded system with the trip-lock or twin-lock seal. It's your primary defense against water damage. The oyster case name itself comes from this watertight design. Like an oyster shell, it seals completely, still never adjust underwater. Even though the oyster case design offers theoretical protection, don't risk it. Always keep the crown screwed down tight in any wet environment. The engineering is brilliant, but common sense is better. The oyster case defies water, but the steel itself isn't normal steel. It's something aerospace engineers recognize. Number 12. Rolex steel is not normal steel. When Rolex says stainless steel, they're not using the same material as other watch brands. Rolex uses a proprietary alloy called oyster steel, which is a type of 904L stainless steel. Most watches use 316L steel. The difference is significant. Regular 316L stainless steel is perfectly fine for most applications. It resists corrosion, polishes nicely, and costs less. Most of the watch industry uses it, but Rolex wanted something better, something that would last generations without degrading. Oyster steel, 904LL, contains higher amounts of chromium, nickel, and molybdenum. These elements make it extremely resistant to corrosion, even in harsh environments. Salt water, sweat, chemicals, none of them affect oyster steel the way they attack regular steel. The aerospace and chemical industries use 904L steel for critical applications. So does the medical industry for surgical instruments. It's harder to machine and more expensive to work with. Most watch brands avoid it because of the added cost and difficulty. Rolex doesn't care about cost or difficulty. They invested in special equipment and training to work with 904L steel exclusively. Every steel Rolex case, bracelet, and component uses this superior alloy. The result? Rolex watches from the 1960s still look brilliant today. The steel hasn't pitted, discolored, or degraded. Vintage Submariners shine like new after proper cleaning. This longevity is partly due to oyster steel. That's why old Rolex watches still shine. The superior corrosion resistance of oyster steel means your watch will look fantastic for decades. Even vintage pieces polish up beautifully because the steel itself hasn't degraded. Oyster steel never fades, but that magnifying bubble over your date isn't just any lens, it's mathematically perfect. Number 11. The Cyclops is exactly 2.5 times magnification. The Cyclops lens over the date window is one of Rolex's most recognizable features. Most people assume it's just a magnifying lens. But Rolex engineered it to an exact specification. 2.5 times magnification. Not 2 times, not 3 times, exactly 2.5 times. Why this specific magnification? Rolex tested different levels extensively. They found that 2 times magnification wasn't quite enough to make the date comfortably legible for everyone. But 3 times magnification made the date look distorted and unnatural. The sweet spot was 2.5 times. Creating a perfect 2.5 times magnification lens is harder than it sounds. The Cyclops must be precisely shaped and positioned. The curve must be exact. The material must be perfectly clear sapphire crystal with no distortion. Any deviation ruins the effect. Rolex applies the Cyclops to the sapphire crystal with such precision that it's virtually invisible except for the magnified date beneath it. The edges blend seamlessly. There's no visible gap or adhesive line. It looks like the magnification is built into the crystal itself. Counterfeiters struggle with the Cyclops constantly. Fake Rolex watches often use incorrect magnification, sometimes 1.5 times, sometimes 2 times, rarely the correct 2.5 times. The date looks too small or sits in the wrong position under the lens. Experts spot these errors instantly. The Cyclops also has anti-reflective coating on the underside to prevent internal reflections. This keeps the date crystal clear even in bright light. Fake watches often get this wrong. Check the date magnification carefully. If the numbers look too small under the Cyclops or the lens appears cloudy or poorly aligned, you're looking at a counterfeit. The Cyclops magnifies with mathematical perfection, but the next secret is something you can hear and feel: engineered clicks that reveal a watch's identity. Number 10. The bezel clicks are engineered sounds. When you rotate a Rolex dive watch bezel, each click is engineered to perfection. The Submariner has 60 clicks, 1 per minute. The GMT Master 2 has 24 clicks, 1 per hour. None of this is random. Beneath the bezel sits a spring-loaded mechanism. Metal teeth engage precisely with each rotation. The tension is calculated. The sound is designed. Rolex tests these mechanisms thousands of times to ensure consistency after years of use. Different models have different click feels. Submariner clicks feel firm and definitive. Yacht Master clicks feel smoother. GMT Master 2 clicks feel lighter but precise. Experienced collectors can identify models blindfolded just by rotating the bezel. The clicking serves practical purposes too. Divers wearing thick gloves need to feel and hear confirmation underwater. Each click proves the bezel moved exactly one position. This precision can save lives. Counterfeit Rolex watches fail at bezel clicks. Fakes feel mushy, inconsistent, or loose. Sometimes they don't click at all. The difference between genuine and fake is immediately obvious. With this information, collectors can identify models blindfolded. Close your eyes and rotate a genuine Rolex bezel. The precision is unmistakable. The bezel clicks with surgical precision, but the next secret reveals something even more valuable. Rolex makes its own gold. Number 9. Rolex uses its own gold foundry. Rolex doesn't buy gold from suppliers. They own their own foundry. Every gram of gold in every Rolex is created, alloyed, and refined in-house. This gives complete control over quality and color. Rolex produces 3 proprietary alloys: yellow gold, white gold, and Everose gold. Each formula is secret. The exact metal ratios remain confidential. Yellow gold is classic 18 karat with copper and silver. White gold uses palladium instead of nickel, making it hypoallergenic and permanently white. Most white gold yellows over time. Rolex white gold doesn't. Everose is Rolex's masterpiece. Traditional rose gold fades as copper oxidizes. Rolex added platinum to prevent this. Everose rose gold never fades. Other luxury brands outsource gold to third parties, causing color inconsistencies. Rolex controls everything from raw materials to finished components. The color matches perfectly across every part. Everose never fades like normal rose gold. Choose Everose if you want rose gold that lasts forever. The Platinum Edition is brilliant engineering. Rolex creates eternal gold, but the next hidden feature happens in a single, perfect instant at midnight. Number 8. The date changes instantly. Most watches change dates gradually between 11:30 p.m. and 12:30 a.m. The date slowly rolls from one number to the next. Rolex designed something better. The Rolex date wheel sits under spring tension all day. As midnight approaches, tension builds. Then, at exactly 12 a.m., the spring releases. The date snaps instantly to the next number. One moment, it's 15. The next, it's 16. This requires incredible precision. Spring tension must be perfect, strong enough to snap quickly but not damage components. The date wheel must balance precisely to avoid overshooting. The release mechanism must trigger at exactly midnight. Why does this matter? Satisfaction. Watching a Rolex date change at midnight proves you're wearing exceptional engineering. The instant snap is thrilling. Counterfeiters cannot replicate this easily. Fake Rolex watches almost always have slow-rolling dates. The number creeps over 30 to 60 minutes. This is one of the easiest fake identifiers. Slow date change often signals a fake. If the date slowly rolls at 11:45 p.m., walk away. Genuine Rolex dates snap instantly at midnight. The date snaps with precision, but hidden words around the dial reveal another authentication secret. Number 7. Hidden rehaut engravings. Look at the rehaut, the inner ring between dial and crystal. Tiny engraved text circles the watch. Rolex repeats around the top. The serial number sits at 6 o'clock on modern models. Rolex added this around 2005 as anti-counterfeit protection. The engraving is microscopic and perfectly aligned. Each letter is crisp, evenly spaced, and positioned precisely. The Rolex text repeats every 30 degrees with mathematical perfection. The serial number aligns perfectly with the 6 o'clock marker. Any deviation indicates problems. Counterfeiters struggle with rehaut engraving constantly. Common errors include text that's too large, uneven spacing, misalignment with dial markers, and fuzzy engraving under magnification. High-quality fakes sometimes have rehaut engravings, but inspection reveals flaws. Wrong font, inconsistent spacing, or alignment off by degrees. Experts catch these immediately. Misalignment is a red flag. To identify a fake, use a loupe to examine rehaut engraving. Check alignment with dial markers. Perfect execution means genuine Rolex. The rehaut whispers Rolex repeatedly, but deep inside the movement, a blue spring fights invisible forces. Number 6. Parachrom hairspring is anti-magnetic. Inside every modern Rolex sits a tiny blue coil called the parachrom hairspring. This component is one of Rolex's greatest innovations. Traditional hairsprings are steel, which has a fatal weakness. Magnetism. Your phone, laptop, magnetic clasps, all can magnetize steel hairsprings. The coils stick together. The watch runs hours fast daily. Rolex solved this with parachrom, a proprietary niobium and zirconium alloy. It's paramagnetic, completely immune to magnetic fields. Put a Rolex next to the strongest magnet, nothing happens. Parachrom also resists temperature changes better than steel. Its thermal stability is 10 times superior. Your Rolex maintains accuracy from Arctic cold to desert heat. The blue color results from proprietary oxidation during manufacturing. It indicates proper treatment and quality control. Rolex developed parachrom over years of research and filed patents protecting the formula. No other brand can replicate it. This is one reason Rolex accuracy stays stable. Parachrom protects your investment through magnetic fields and temperature swings that destroy ordinary movements. The blue spring defeats magnetism silently, but Rolex demands even more proof of perfection through double testing. Number 5. Rolex watches are tested twice. Most Swiss chronometers are tested by COSC, which tests uncased movements over 15 days. Movements must maintain -4 to 6 seconds daily accuracy. This is excellent. Rolex goes further. After passing COSC, movements get cased. Then Rolex tests the complete watch again with stricter standards, -2 to +2 seconds per day. Why test after casing? Because installing a movement in its case affects performance. The dial, hands, case pressure, and crown system all influence accuracy. Rolex tests every completed watch in-house using proprietary equipment. They simulate years of wear in days, multiple positions, waterproofing verification, power reserve checks. Only watches passing everything earn superlative chronometer officially certified on the dial. This double testing costs significant time and money. Most brands skip it. Rolex considers it non-negotiable. That's why they say superlative chronometer. Those words mean your watch passed 2 separate certifications, one external, one internal, and stricter. Double testing proves accuracy. But the next secret is written in glowing colors that change through time. Number 4. Lume color changes by model era. The luminous material on Rolex dials tells a story through color. Different eras used different lume compounds, and each glows a distinct color. Collectors use these color variations to authenticate and date vintage watches. Early Rolex watches used radium-based lume that glowed green. By the 1960s, health concerns ended radium use. Rolex switched to tritium, which aged to a warm cream or yellow patina over decades. This tropical patina is highly sought after by vintage collectors. In the late 1990s, Rolex transitioned to Luminova, a non-radioactive compound that glows green-blue. Then, they upgraded to Super Luminova, which glows even brighter and longer. Modern Rolex watches use chromolite, a proprietary blue-glowing lume that lasts up to 8 hours. Each lume type has a specific glow color and duration. Tritium glows soft yellow-green and fades within hours. Luminova glows bright green for several hours. Chromolite glows vivid blue and maintains visibility all night. Counterfeiters often mix incorrect lume colors with wrong eras. A watch claiming to be from 1965 shouldn't have bright blue chromolite. These anachronisms expose fakes instantly. Pro tip: help date vintage watches. Examine lume color under UV light and in darkness. Cream patina suggests tritium from the 1960s, 1990s. Bright green indicates Luminova from late 1990s, 2000s. Blue glow means modern chromolite. Lume reveals a watch's age through color, but the next feature shows Rolex's philosophy. True beauty lives inside, not outside. Number 3. The caseback is intentionally boring. Flip over almost any luxury watch and you'll see something decorative. Fancy engravings, exhibition windows showing the movement, brand logos, commemorative text. Rolex casebacks show none of this. They're plain, smooth, and boring. This isn't laziness or cost-cutting. It's philosophy. Rolex believes the movement's beauty is in how it performs, not how it looks. A display caseback serves vanity, not function. Rolex chooses function every time. Solid casebacks are more waterproof than exhibition backs. The unbroken metal surface provides superior protection against water, dust, and shocks. Display backs require gaskets around glass, creating potential weak points. Rolex also values longevity. Casebacks get scratched from desk diving and daily wear. A smooth steel caseback can be polished endlessly. An engraved or decorated caseback loses detail with each polishing. The few exceptions prove the rule. Some special editions have subtle engravings. Sea Dweller models say Sea Dweller on the caseback, but these remain minimal and functional, never decorative. Rolex believes beauty is inside, not shown. The plain caseback represents Rolex's tool watch DNA. Performance over appearance, substance over flash. If you want to admire a movement, buy a different brand. If you want reliability, choose Rolex. Rolex hides beauty inside, but the bracelet reveals another hidden engineering triumph that preserves value. Number 2. The bracelet has hidden stretch protection. Vintage Rolex bracelets have a notorious weakness. They stretch. The pins connecting links wear down over decades. The bracelet develops sags, it hangs loose and rattles. A badly stretched bracelet can lose half its value. Rolex recognized this problem and engineered a solution. Modern Rolex bracelets use solid center links and improved pin construction. The links fit together with tighter tolerances. The pins are harder and more wear-resistant. The Oyster bracelet on modern models features solid end links and a redesigned clasp system. These improvements dramatically reduce stretch even after years of daily wear. The bracelet maintains its tight, refined feel. The Jubilee bracelet received similar upgrades. Modern 5-piece links interlock more securely. The smaller links actually distribute wear better than older designs, preventing any single point from loosening excessively. Collectors buying vintage Rolex watches always check bracelet condition first. They hold the watch by the lugs and let the bracelet hang. A tight bracelet hangs straight. A stretched bracelet sags dramatically. Severe stretch can cost thousands in restoration. Vintage buyers check bracelet sag first. When buying used Rolex, examine bracelet carefully. Lift the watch and feel for play between links. Modern bracelets should feel solid. Stretch reduces value and costs serious money to repair. Modern bracelets defeat time's wear, but our final secret reveals that Rolex actually wants your watch to show its story. Number 1. Rolex watches are designed to look better with age. Rolex watches are meant to be worn hard. The scratches aren't mistakes, they're memories. The dings tell stories. Rolex designed their watches knowing they'd accumulate wear, and they believe this wear adds character, not damage. The brushed surfaces on Rolex cases and bracelets develop a soft patina over time. The brushing wears slightly smoother. The finish becomes more uniform. Collectors call this naturally refinished, and it's beautiful. Polished surfaces show scratches, yes. But these scratches catch light differently than fresh polish. Vintage Rolex watches have a glow that new watches lack. The combination of micro scratches creates depth. Rolex discourages over-polishing. Each polishing removes metal. Too much polishing destroys the sharp edges that define a case's architecture. The lugs become rounded. The case becomes smaller. Collectors value unpolished watches specifically because the original proportions remain intact. The term honest wear describes watches showing use without abuse, daily scratches from desks, doorways, and life. These marks prove the watch was worn and loved, not kept in a safe. Rolex calls this honest wear. Don't panic about scratches. A worn Rolex tells a better story than a pristine one. Many collectors specifically seek watches with natural patina and honest wear over heavily polished examples. And those are 17 hidden Rolex features that prove why these watches remain unmatched in engineering, philosophy, and enduring value.